सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Beautiful. So, a beautiful sunny day. We are here, and the text we are going to see is Dakshinamurti Stotra. Dakshinamurti Shloka or Dakshinamurti Stotra. It's a beautiful text. We may not be completing the whole text. The whole point of starting this text is not to complete it. If I want to complete it, I can complete it today, over. But the whole point is not to complete it. The whole point is for you to understand what is happening, what is Vedanta and what is Dakshinamurti Stotra. We did last year when I came, we did Bhajagovindam. We understood the whole concept of Bhajagovindam. We understood the whole concept of Bhajagovindam. Now here we are going to see what Dakshinamurti Stotra is, and along with that, what is Vedanta. Because Dakshinamurti Stotra, I was looking into many Prakarana Granthas. Prakarana Granthas are basic texts which are introduction to Vedanta, the higher texts. So I was looking into many of these texts. This is finally I said, no, I am not going to do anything else. I am going to do only Dakshinamurti Stotra. So Dakshinamurti Stotra is a very high level Vedantic text. It's the ultimate kind of. And I am going to do that for you people. What? We are ultimate? That is not the question. I will try to make you understand, see what I see in this. That is what is the idea behind it. Dakshinamurti Stotra. First, what is Dakshinamurti? That we have to understand. Who is Dakshinamurti? Stotra or Shloka, we know they are hymns. Okay. Dakshinamurti. Beautiful word. Dakshinamurti. Dakshina means, normally it's interpreted as south. Murti means form. So, south form. What is the south form? First, we have to understand what south is. South is interpreted because Dakshina is also knowledge. I am coming to that section. Dakshina also means knowledge, but south means knowledge. South means knowledge. From one side, when you see south, south is knowledge. In a text called Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi, grammar text, there is a word he is establishing called Dakshinatyaha. So he is introducing you to a suffix called tya. So Dakshinatyaha. Dakshinatya. What does Dakshinatya means? He says Dakshinaha Kushalaha ityartha. He says they are experts, they are intelligent, smart. That is what is the meaning. So Dakshina means smart, intelligent, knowledgeable. Dakshina means south. South means here intelligent, knowledgeable. Again, same. But Dakshina is south. And when you see this form as called Dakshinamurti, I'll come to that slowly. We'll understand what Dakshinamurti is completely. This form of Dakshinamurti, anywhere in South Indian temples where you see, it's a common thing in South Indian temples. Any Tamil Nadu temple you go, you will find a Dakshinamurti form. You will not find Dakshinamurti in North Indian temples. North Indians, many people don't even know Dakshinamurti. Even in India, many don't know who Dakshinamurti is. So this form is facing south always, except in our ashram. He is facing almost north. So the thing is, why is he facing south? What is the significance of south? South, we said, south means knowledge. What is the significance of south? For that, we have to understand I'll explain it through a mythology and the activities they do in the world. Like, there is a mythology, the birth of Ganapati, the deity Ganapati, Ganesha. Ganesha was made, a human form, a human child form is made, as they say in the Puranas, through the dirt removed from her body. This goddess Parvati, she removes the dirt and she makes a form, and that form is accepted as that form is not Ganapati actually. That form is a product of her dirt. And some idiots go on to interpret it in a wrong way by saying, oh, see this Parvati? She removes so much of dirt from her body to make a form. Such a dirty woman? Are you worshipping that kind of dirty woman? This is all perverted minds. Okay? When we talk about Shiva or Parvati, they are pure. Nirmala. There is a name which we associate Parvati with or Shiva with. With Shiva, Nirmala. And with Parvati, Nirmala. When it is a feminine case, you add a, e, etc. Now here Nirmala. Mala means impurity. Nir means devoid of. So they are devoid of impurities. Then where does this impurity come from? She is pure form. From her pure form, she is removing some purity and creating another purity. I don't understand this. I rub, I remove some dirt, I create a form. Okay, that I understand. I rub, I am pure, I remove some purity and I create a form. How can that be? This is what the whole idea of Purnamada Purnamidam is. When we conclude, we normally chant Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Avashishyate. Purna is complete. When you add infinite, you can say infinite. When you add infinite to infinite, that is infinite, this is infinite. When you add infinite to infinite, remains infinite. When you subtract infinite from infinite, remains infinite. So that infinite, from that, when you are removing something, when you remove something from the purity, it is always going to be pure. There is no impurity in that. Okay. So this boy is created. Why is this boy created? Devi, goddess Parvati, wants to go and stay alone. She wants to take a bath or something. So she says, don't allow anything. She creates this boy and says, you be my guard. Don't allow anyone to enter. Okay. It's like a computer software. You say this and it is going to work only on that. So someone comes knocking at the door and this boy says, don't even dare. get lost. Whoever comes, I will not allow. I want to see the goddess. No, you can't. Go. No, go. So when Shiva comes, Shiva is the husband, he comes knocking. He says, I want to meet my wife. No. Who are you to say no to meet my wife? She is my mother, and my mother said not to allow anyone. There is no clause here. There is no star and conditions applied. No. There is no TNC. No means no. I cannot allow you. Shiva, being Shiva, was irritated. How can this fellow say no to me? He cut his head, and the boy fell down there dead. He goes inside. Parvati says, how did he come inside? I have kept a boy there. Yeah, I killed him. How can you kill him? Like any wife, she had a fight. It's all to see. These fights are not to be interpreted in wrong way. The anger, the fight, the laugh, all these of gods, because they are pure, all these will only beget pureness, will only beget goodness. So when they have this fight, as though fight, to appease her, Shiva says, okay, I'll get a replacement. He did a plastic surgery or transplant, head transplant surgery. The first head transplant surgery was done by Shiva, and he is a surgeon actually, because in the Rudra it says Prathamo Devyo Bhishak. He is the first person who is a medicine man, meaning a doctor. So he says, actually he is the master of medicine. He is, as we say, master of computers also, because he has Lord Ganapati who has a mouse. Like that we interpret. Anyway, so what happens is, he sends his people to find anything which is lying on the south side, with its head on the south side. Whatever is lying with its head on the south side, cut it and bring it. So these people go and see this elephant, and that elephant is alive. They cut the elephant's head and they bring it, and that is what the first plastic surgery is, and he gets a elephant head. This boy gets an elephant head. Okay. Now, why did he say south side? That is the story in the Puranas, the mythological text. Now, what is the significance? When somebody is dead, we place them with their head facing south. Normally in the villages nowadays, people don't care. They just lie down whichever side they find. Normally in villages, they won't allow you to lie down with your head facing the south. They will not allow you to lie down, sleep. No. And now scientists say the southern the magnetic field, that side is not good for your brain and this side is not good. All that idea now, science. We are not discussing science here. Okay. Now, even if the Shastra is established by the science, I don't care. I am not going to prove science with my Shastra. No. So, this Dakshina, the southern face. So, southern face. What is southern face? As I told you, south is the side of death. When you lay a dead body, you keep the head on the southern side. So, southern side is the side of death. And this form is facing the side of death. who will face the side of death? Who has the strength to face the death? Only the one who can fight against it. Otherwise, normally you'll be turning the other side and run away from the face of death. No, he is facing the death because he has the strength to face the death and destroy it. What is death? That is another question. We'll come to that later. Now, Dakshinamurti. Who is Dakshinamurti? Normally, if I have to just say in simple terms, I will say Dakshinamurti is Shiva. Over. Dakshinamurti is Shiva. When I say Shiva, immediately the sound of Damaru, they call it a drum, hand drum, it's called Damaru. They play it like that. Shiva has it in his hand. So that sound comes from somewhere. So if you go to Kashi, Varanasi, it's a strange thing I have never seen anywhere else. In Kashi, see, people have this drum, they play this drum in Shiva's temple and all that. That is something. Nowhere you will see this except in Kashi. Suddenly I heard a sound like this. I was like, what? Okay. And another person, okay. This is a normal thing. I understood that's normal thing. They come to the temple, they bow to Shiva and do namaskara and hold on to their ears and they do like a drum. They hold on to their ears and so what is happening? Okay, this drum sound they make. So Shiva is in the form of Dakshinamurti. Why will he be in form of Dakshinamurti? There is a story behind it. Shiva took a form to guide some priests, some pandits who are well versed in karma, performing the karmas, the activities, the fire oblations and other activities which are prescribed in the Vedas. They are well versed, experts. So why should he guide them? They are already experts. Why should the experts be guided? Because they were of the school of, we call Purvamimamsa, meaning they accepted karma as the supreme. There is nothing which is needed to be done, only karma. There's no God, nothing. They didn't believe in God. They accepted Vedas. They didn't believe in Ishvara. They said the Vedas ordains karmas and that karma, if I'm going to perform, that is enough. There is no need for anything else. Since they have been performing the karmas for so long, they have purity of mind. That is why we keep repeating Chittasya Shuddhaye Karma Natu Vastu Upalabdhaye. Vivek Chudamani very categorically says Chittasya Shuddhaye Karma. The karmas are performed for the sake of purity of mind. You are purifying your mind, not to gain the Vastu self. You cannot gain the self through karmas. No. You can only gain purity of mind, which helps you to see properly. Karmas are like your glasses. If you can't see things properly, you go to an ophthalmologist and he prescribes your glass to see things properly. That is what karmas are like. It course corrects your mind. So that whatever, see, if your mind is not pure, even if the things are there, you will not be able to understand. Like if your eyes are not clear, if your eyes are not proper, even if the things are in front of you, you will not be able to see. Even if it is there in front of you, you will not be able to see. So that is what karmas are for us. Like the glasses are for the eyes, karmas are for the mind. So without that, your mind cannot process the same thing which is said in the proper way. The same thing, like I was explaining the other day. I used to stay in this ashram called Virakta Ashram, which didn't have power supply. And I used to have a small kerosene lamp, which is a small lamp. And in that light, I used to read very small character book. Very small. It's a small book which has very small characters. Now, with uh, the when I grow older, with my age, I was saying that I now understand these characters are becoming smaller. So it plays with my eyes. Oh, I will not I will not be visible for you. So when I was able to see, when my eyes were clear, I was able to see a smaller character. Now at this age, even a bigger character becomes a very difficult task for me to read. Why? Because the eyes have some impurity, some obstacle. So that kind of obstacle which are there for your mind. So when the object, when the self, when the truth is in front of you, even if it is in front of you, you cannot process it and understand it. Truth? Is the truth not everywhere? Omniscient, omnipotent, that is what we call the self as, and self is everything. There is nothing which is not self. So whether I do karma or I don't do karma, the self exists. So how can you say only through karma my mind is processed, and then with that kind of processed mind I can see the self? You can never see the self. I didn't promise for you to see the self if you perform the karma. No. When you perform the karma, you will see the person who can show you the self, who can make you understand the self. Accept that person. That is an important milestone. It's a very important milestone. Without, we have a saying, without a guru, even a mason cannot learn his masonry skills. A cook cannot learn his cooking skills. Whether it's imagined cook or the real cook, like Ratatouille, it imagined. So whether it is whichever, but without a guru, you cannot learn anything. It is impossible. Why do you want to reinvent the wheel? Now, here, this Dakshinamurti wanted to guide these Pandits because they have the purity of mind. What they lack is a guru. So he said, okay, that is what the Shastras say, declare actually. If you are ready, the guru appears in front of you. So when these people were ready, the guru, Shiva himself, comes and appears in front of them. And us with any mind, with attachment to anything, whether it's good or bad, does not really matter. If you have an attachment to anything, then if that thing is challenged, whatever you are attached to, if that is challenged, you are not going to accept the one who challenges it. You are going to go for a debate. So, debate or a fight. So, when Shiva comes there and the whole group of people in that village, many of them are running behind the Shiva. They understand the greatness, the kids, the wives, they are running behind. So these Pandits, they were like, what is that? Who is this fellow? We'll teach him a lesson. They create through their power, through their power gained through karma, they create different obstacles. Like they create a trident and send to kill him, and he uses the trident as his weapon. They send a elephant, he uses that as his dress. Things like that. So after that, they understand this person who is in front of them, who has appeared in front of them, is not a normal person. He is superior than them, not abnormal. He is superior than them. That is what they understood. So once they understood, since they were pure hearted because of the karma, they were able to accept him after this trial and error. Or they were fighting him. Well, how can you say they accepted him? They were not. You cannot see that as fighting. You can see that simply as testing. They were testing this person in front of them, and when they found that he is proper, they surrendered to him. And once they surrendered, this person started giving them the knowledge which will liberate them from the karmas which they were bound to. So, after that, in that very form, he stayed because of the request from these Pandits. He decided to stay in that very form. Pandits were liberated. Why will they request? Because in that form, in that very form of Guru, he appeared in front of them and he dispelled their darkness. So that form becomes an auspicious thing for these people. Though they understand the non-duality, the truth, that very form, we have a in the tradition we have some acceptance. We accept that the place of birth, the place of death, the place of living of the Guru to be auspicious. When we accept the place of birth, place of death and place of living itself to be auspicious, do we even need to talk about the form of Guru to be auspicious? Because place and time, they are product of ignorance. Not just the form. The place and time are the first creation when the association of ignorance and knowledge as though happens. So that is the first creation. When one sees that very first creation itself as auspicious, should we even talk about that form in which the Guru appears in. So that Ishvara, these people requested him to stay in that form. So he said, accepted that. Now, Dakshinamurti, which is none other than the Shiva himself, accepted their request and stayed in that form. Now, in the shloka, you will hear another story, which is the sons of Brahmaji, the creator. They were, Brahmaji created them for assisting him in the creation. It was a too tedious job, so he wanted some assistance. So he said, okay, first let me create 4 assistants to, I'll distribute my job to them and they'll take care of it. I can relax. So he created 4 assistants, and what did they do? They started discussing among themselves. They were assistants, they were not created as a child, they are mind born. So he created them as a youth. And they discussed among themselves. They said, okay, what will this give us? Nothing. We'll be bound to this. We should not be bound to anything. So we'll get liberated. So how to get liberated? We'll search for that. So they were in search for this truth, and they were doing this for quite some time. So until they found Dakshinamurti. They came to him. Dakshinamurti, all these 4 people, they came to Dakshinamurti. They asked for the teaching. They are experts in all the other teachings. They wanted only knowledge. So they came to him to gain that knowledge. So that is what we will see in one of these shlokas. That story I'll come to that in that base. Okay. Now, that Dakshinamurti, who is Dakshina means knowledge, Murti means form. Therefore, Dakshinamurti means an embodiment of knowledge. An embodiment of knowledge, a form of knowledge. So, he is the hero of this text. So, in the outset, when you see this, when you hear this topic, Dakshinamurti Stotra, Dakshinamurti Shloka, hymn for Dakshinamurti, hymn in the praise of Dakshinamurti, you will just think that this is some text which is a devotional text. Like in the case of Bhajagovindam, we established that it is not a devotional text, it is a full and full Vedantic text. This also in the outset, because yet at every end of the shloka, in the invitation also we saw Dakshinamurti shloka, Tasmai Shri Gurumurte Namaidam Shri Dakshinamurti. That is what is the introduction. Probably that's what is written on top of the file. Tasmai Shri Gurumurte Namaidam Shri Dakshinamurti. Is it written there? No? Okay, it's not written. In the invitation, it was written. So this one statement, Tasmai Shri Gurumurte, almost all the shlokas concludes with this. Almost all, not all. So Tasmai, to that Gurumurti, that Guru, the form of Guru, to that form of Guru, Namaidam, this salutation of mine. To whom? To Dakshinamurti. To that Dakshinamurti in the form of Guru, to that Guru in the form of Dakshinamurti, in whichever way you want to interpret, you can interpret. To that Guru who is in the form of Dakshinamurti, or to that Dakshinamurti who is in the form of Guru, my salutations. So, it in the outset, when you read this, oh, it is a salutation to some Dakshinamurti, therefore this is a devotional hymn. That is how we understand. But this is a very high-end, hardcore Vedantic text. Very high-end. We'll try to understand it from a simple not from the high-end Vedantic view, but from a simple Vedantic view. Okay? First, these are not shlokas which you see in the first page. They are not shlokas which are directly associated with the Dakshinamurti shloka, but they are kind of introduction to that Dakshinamurti. Okay? So, first shloka. Maunavyakhya prakatita parabrahmatattvam yuvanam varshishthante vasadrishair sadrishiganairavrutam brahmanishthaihi आचार्येन्द्रं करगलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दरूपं स्वात्मारामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे. Dakshinamurti Meede. Dakshinamurtin Ede. That is how you have to break. Ede. My salutation. To whom? Dakshinamurti. My salutations to Dakshinamurti. Who is that Dakshinamurti? If you read from the end, Muditavadanam Swatmaramam. Muditavadanam. He is a Vadana means face. Vadana means face. Mudita means smiling face. He has a very smiling face. Why will one have smiling face? Because the previous adjective says Swatmaramam. See, when you are enjoying something, you have, without knowing, you have a smile in your face. without you recognizing that you are smiling. When you are enjoying something, you naturally smile, and people, why are you smiling? You don't even know that you are smiling. Oh, am I smiling? Oh, I was thinking about this, or I was doing this, something like that. You will say. So, without you even recognizing it, you will be smiling. And this fellow is smiling. Why is he smiling? So he says, Swatmaram. What is he? What is he playing with, or what is he thinking? What is he doing? Because of which there is a smile in his face. Swatma Ramam. He is involved in his self, with his self. He is not involved with anything else. Swatma Ramam. Ramu Kridayam. He is playing. He is playing means his play field is his self. So, what? Okay. He is playing with himself. Very good. Who is he? Again, another adjective says in the third line, Acharyendram. Acharyendram. Acharya Indram. Indram means Lord. Indram means Lord. Indra means Lord. That is why Lord of heaven is referred to as Indra. Who is he? Lord of what? Acharya Indram. He is Lord of all the teachers. And that is why when we start the salutation to the tradition, we say, Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Right from the Sadashiva to Shankaracharya till my Guru, I salute the whole tradition. Sadashiva in the form of Dakshinamurti. That is why Acharya Indram, he is Lord of the teachers. Okay? Karagali Chitin Mudram, let us keep it like that. Now, coming to the first line. Mauna Vyaksha Prakatita Parabrahma Tattvam Yuvanam. Okay. Acharyendram, that is little too much. Calling someone Lord of teachers. What is that? That is little too much, isn't it? So, how does it teach? Okay, for this, before explaining this, I have to explain something else. I was in Rishikesh. Okay, so I was, during that period of time, I was teaching Sanskrit. So, one of my disciples said, this person wants to attend your class. Can he say okay? He said okay. He came, little elderly person, he came and sat through the whole class, and next class he didn't come. He just came for one class. He asked what happened to him. I later understood he does not go to anybody's class. He does not go to study from anyone. He just goes to validate them, value them. Okay, to give points. Okay, out of 10, 1 to 10, 3, 2, he does not even come in this spectrum like that. So I said, good. How is he evaluating me? You are 11 out of 10. I said, what? 11 out of 10. Why? The moment he entered the class, he saw I have a whiteboard and I have sketch pens and all that. So that is the first thing which impressed him, because he was from that teachers training school. So the teachers training school, the first thing they say is a teacher should use these tools. In tradition, we don't use that. But since I teach Sanskrit as a mathematical form, in a mathematical form, I use all the props. The first thing, the moment he entered, he said, okay, pass. Then when I explained it in equations, then I scored distinction. When I explained it with example, first class and more than that. So, validating the teacher. Good. How does this fellow teach now? This Dakshinamurti, how does he teach? Because we are talking about him as Acharyendram. To be Acharyendram, he should have some special qualities as a teacher, right? So that is what the special quality is, what is referred to in the first shloka, first line of the shloka. Mauna Vyakya. Gone. All that which we explained, we were trying to, like, I don't know how many of you are into the Indian movie scene. If you see an Indian movie, they will just first in the beginning itself, they'll say, oh, this fellow is such a great fellow and all that about the hero, and the hero will give an entry. He'll break open a door, or he'll break somebody's bones. He'll enter the scene with a grandeur. Now, I gave such an entry point. Oh, our hero is like this, our hero is like that. He's the he's the Lord of teachers. And how does he teach? Mauna Vyakya, the first word itself, destroyed all my. Like you are talking about a hero, and suddenly a comedian enters. What will be the scene? That is how he is expressing now. He says, I say, Acharyendram and Swatmaramam. He is established in himself and he is enjoying the self. And he is having a smiling face. And how does he teach? Mauna Vyakya, that is the word. Mauna Vyakya means, Mauna means silence. Vyakya means commentary. So you go and ask him, I want to learn self. Please teach me self. He is just smiling there, that's all. What will you understand if he's going to, even if we are explain in pages, not pages, in books. So many books you explain, you don't understand, and this fellow is not even using one word. Just smiling. Mauna Vyakya. It's a beautiful word. And what does he do with Mauna Vyakya? Commentary, silence. Commentary, silence. I am just saying just commentary, silence. I am not adding any adverb, things like that. I am just saying silence, commentary. So what does he do with that silence commentary? Prakatita Parabrahma Tattvam. Prakatita, he exposed, he illumined. What? Parabrahma Tattvam, the truth about the absolute self. He establishes the truth about the absolute self through what? Silence commentary. See, a word like this, Mauna Vyakyanam, it's a compound word. So you have to add some words to complete it, to understand the meaning. So what did he do? So let us understand in one way. Mauna, Shanti, all these words refer to self. All these words refer to self. So, Mauna, because Shanti is the word which is said, Shanti Mrichate, Paramam Shanti Mrichate in the Vedas and in other places, it is said, he gains the absolute Shanti, absolute peace. Peace is self. It is not the peace which we see in the world, it is the self. Shanti is the word referring to self. In that sense, if you accept Mauna, Mauna means silence. Silence is Shanti, to be at peace. A turbulent mind cannot keep the mouth shut. So, so everyone knows about themselves. Okay. So, who Guruji was talking about me? No, he was talking about me. No, it was me, not you both. So, It is about us. Okay. The silent mind the silent mind does not express, and an expressive mind cannot keep silent. So, what is this silent commentary? So, if you see the silence, the word silence as the self, then a commentary on self. A commentary on self. Otherwise, if you see it as a silence itself is the commentary, then there will be no meaning at all. How can you comment in silence? There can be no commentary in silence, or there can be no commentary of silence if you accept silence as a not speaking. It is like people who say, I am keeping mauna. Okay. So you go and ask, where did he go? They will do all the dance from Western to Indian to all the new break dance and everything. They will just do that, and at the end of it, you will be looking and you will be saying, is he there? No. Oh, did he go to the shop? Did he go to the movie? Instead of that, I found a beautiful example. There was one I was discussing to this example I was giving in Pitesh. The example of that person who cooks with his left. So the person who cooks and says, don't ask again. That person, I was talking to him. Okay, I was talking to him when I was in Rishikesh. One Swami crossed us. I don't know him. This person knows him. So he said, oh, how are you, Swamiji? When did you come back? He was on a tour somewhere. When did he come back? He stopped and he answered politely, and I loved the answer. He said, I'm in silence. And he walked away. I loved the answer, because if he stood there and said, what, you won't speak to me? Oh, you have some problem in your mouth? So you are going to ask 100 questions and he has to dance there. Instead of all that useless acts, he said, I am in silence. Simple. You are not disturbing him, he is not disturbing you. So that is what is mauna, not writing. I have seen a person, it's not a bad thing, it is a better thing than speaking, but still that is not the complete mauna. We cannot call that a mauna. I have seen people go start practicing mauna, they shut themselves off and they'll come out with a book. What kind of mauna is that? Okay, and I have seen people with a bag in which they have a small board and a chalk pieces full in the bag, full box in the bag. So they'll keep on writing whatever they want to say, they'll write. They'll not speak, that's all. That is the kind of mauna they perform. So we are not talking about that mauna or this mauna. We are not talking about mauna in the sense of silence. We are saying mauna is the self. When you say mauna is the self, that mauna, then there is another problem. What is that? Mauna Vyakhyana, by commenting upon the self, what did he do? Prakatita para brahma tattvam, he established the absolute truth. What is the problem here? No problem actually. But when people see it, they'll look at that as problem. Okay, he is not, okay, I want to know about this person X. Okay, so you ask, describe me X. And I will say Y1, Y2, Y3, Y4. I am giving you all the descriptions of Mr. Y. You asked me about X and I am giving descriptions about Y. Will you be able to understand Mr. X? No. Because you don't know who Mr. X is. You only know Mr. Y. So, if I have to give you the knowledge of Mr. X, I have to talk about the attributes of X. X1, X2, X3, X4. So, what does he do? Mauna Vyakhya is explaining the silence, which is the self. And through that, what is he illuminating? The absolute self. He is giving the knowledge of absolute self, and by that he is illumining the self. Prakatita Brahma Tattam. Otherwise, there will be full confusion. Writing on Mauna or commenting upon Mauna, what will you gain? What is the point in commenting upon Mauna? So observe it is. He gave a lecture, whole lecture on silence. Silence is something to be practiced, not to be commented upon. It is like Vairagya. Vairagya is not for display. Your dispassion is not for display. It should be in your mind. You should have dispassion. Not, I have seen people showing their dispassion, exhibiting their dispassion, but without any dispassion inside. You don't have to exhibit your dispassion. The dispassion should be in you. So, this person, he is not commenting about silence. He is commenting about the self. Mauna Vyakhyanam. Otherwise, the whole thing will be in confusion. You will not be able to understand anything there. So, he explained about the self, through which he established the self for you to understand the self. Mauna Vyakhyanam. Very good. And who is he? Oh, he should be an old man. Because all the smart people, wherever you see, they'll have a big long beard, and even the cartoon kind of caricatures they draw, even there they'll have a big long beard and a white beard at that, and they'll be giving the knowledge. Observe. Even in Lord of Rings, that big beard, Lord of Rings, that there also you see a big beard man. No. This person is a Yuvanam. He is youth. He's a young person. Yuva means youth. He is a youth. So, that youth, who is the master of, Lord of the teachers, he who is established in his self and who has a smile in his face is giving a commentary on the self and establishing the self, illuminating the self for you. And okay, who is he with? That is another question. If you are surrounded by idiots and you are explaining self to them, how will they understand? What is the point in explaining? Like they say, I had a friend in, let us call a friend, acquaintance in Rishikesh. Okay. So another sadhu, whom I know. So he came to me and he said, I cannot teach to people who are like this or like that. And I want them to understand because I cannot water down my teaching for them, because I have gain this in a very tough way. If I water down my teaching, what will happen is I lose whatever I learned. I said that may be your way of seeing, but my way of seeing is not that. I don't teach them. What his idea is, they have to climb up and come to my level to understand me. Otherwise, I will not teach them. I said that may be your way, but I don't teach them from up there. I don't even teach them from their own level. I go below their level and teach them, because that is not the place for me to display my expertise. If I am going to use some mumbo jumbos, okay, he knows a lot, but what is the use of that knowledge in you? I know a lot, I know that, but what is the certificate from you going to do about that? Nothing. Like this great saint, he wrote a text at the end of the Mangalacharana. He wrote this. He said, if an idiot is going to praise this text or denounce this text, I don't care. But at the same time, if a smart person, if a learned one is going to denounce this text, I will thank him. Why? Because he is giving me a choice to correct myself. This idiot's praising or denouncing does not do any change in me. Because he is an idiot. He does not understand whether he praises me or denounces me. What is the use of it? So, like that here also, he is teaching that self, and he is making the other person understand he. And who is he surrounded by? Because if you are surrounded by yes sirs, then there is no point. Meaning, if you are surrounded by those idiots who just say, oh, no, this person, there's no point, because they are not interested in understanding the truth. They are there only to gain something out of you. So these people are there to understand this truth. Therefore, he says, Varshishta, Ante. They are people who are Varshishta. They are people who are superior. Eva, who are Anta Eva, meaning Antevasi is the word which we use for explaining disciples. So those disciples, who are they? Sadrishiganaihi Brahmanishtaihi Avrutam. He is surrounded. Avrutam means he is surrounded. He is surrounded by who? Sadrishiganaihi, the group of rishis. The group of rishis who are interested in knowing the Sat, who are interested in establishing, gaining the establishment in Sat. And Brahmanishtaihi, they are interested in being established in that self, and they are established in that self. How did they get established in the self? Then if they are already established, why are they around him? They are established in the self through this Mauna Vyakhyanam. They stay there with him. And how is he sitting? Kara Kalita Chin Mudram. Kara Kalita Chin Mudram. Ananda Rupam means he is blissful nature. Kara Kalita Chin Mudram, third word. We have the important word we have to see. The others are adjectives. Yuvanam, young person, and Acharyendram, we saw lot of teachers. Swatmaram, establishing himself, enjoying in his own self. Muditavadanam, having a smile in his face. All these are all words which are adjective to him. The Mauna Vyakhyanam Prakritha Parabrahma Tattvam Yuvanam, that is what we have to understand. And Varshishthante Sadrishiganaihi Avrutam Brahmanishtahi, that is another second group of words. The third is Karakalita Chin Mudram. He has Chin Mudra. He is showing Mudra. We know Mudra is gestures. When you bend your body, they are postures. When you use your fingers, that is gesture. That gesture is mudra. There are different kinds of mudra. Mudra is not just associated with knowledge, it is associated with yoga, it is associated with dance. Even in dance, there are different kinds of mudra. They say Mrgi Mudra. They'll do this. Mrgi Mudra. Then they'll do something like this. It is something like this or like this. It's a Bringi Mudra or something like a bee. So there are mudras, different kinds of mudras. That is a flower mudra, Pushpa mudra, and this is a bee. So in dance also you have this kind of mudras. Now, this person, he is also showing a mudra, a gesture. What is the gesture? You know what this means? I'll kill you. Be careful. Not that mudra. Then what? He is showing a chin mudra. This is called as chin mudra. Not chin mudra, chin mudra. Chin mudra. This mudra, the name of this mudra is chin mudra. You would have seen this kind of mudra in the petrol bunks. Many of the petrol bunks, some petrochemical things, they have this mudra. In India, there is a petrol thing. I don't remember who that is. They have this chin mudra. This is actually. What is chin mudra? It is to show you through gesture. See this. If a dancer does this, you understand. Okay, there is a flower and there is a bee which is hovering around the flower. You know that, hovering around the flower. You know that, you just by seeing it. And when she does that, you know she is showing the gesture of some deers running. Now, like that, when you, as I said, in the world, if someone says this, he means he is going to kill you. Be careful. Or in India, I don't know in other places. In India, if someone does that, he is talking about money. Where is the money? And nowadays, the whole world is seeing Korean movies and Korean series, and they are using this. That means love symbol. It's not money. It's just a diamond, a heart sign. Previously, they used to do this. Now they still do this. Yeah. Anyway, by what I mean is, when you do that, you understand that's a gesture. Okay, through that gesture, without words, I love you. That is the idea. So, without words, he is showing this mudra and giving you the knowledge of the self. What? Yes, if by showing a single finger, you can say that I will kill you, or by showing a middle finger, you can say you can badmouth others. Similarly, with this gesture, you can give the knowledge. How? The idea is the Trinity. They are out. The seer, seeing, and the seen. These trinities, anything, all those kind of trinities, subject, object, and the means, all the trinities. So they are out. And this finger refers to the individual self. And this finger, thumb, refers to the pointing finger refers to the individual self. And the thumb refers to the absolute self. By connecting them, you are showing, he is showing actually that the individual self and absolute self are one, and there is no trinity associated with that. Simple, beautiful. So that is what Dakshinamurti teaches us with that form. So, that Dakshinamurti, who is a young person, who has a smile in his face, who is established in his own self and enjoying his own self, who is a blissful nature, who is the Lord of the teachers, who teaches the self and makes you understand that self, and who is surrounded by the people who are established in the self through that teaching, and who teaches that self with mere gesture also. To that Dakshinamurti, ide my salutations. My salutations. That is what is the meaning of the first shloka. What is the time now? How long are we having teaching?
1 and 10 minutes.
40
One.
past 7.
Okay, 1 and 10 minutes. Okay. Yeah. So, vatapi sameepe bhumi bhage nishannam sakalamu nijananam jnanadataramarat tribhuvana gurumisham dakshinamurti devam janana marana dukkacheta daksham namami. Again, namami, I salute. My salutations. My salutations to whom? Daksham. Daksham means expert. He is an expert. Expert in what? Janana Marana Dukkha Chedam. Expert in Chedam. Expert in destroying. Expert in felling. Expert in cutting. Cutting what? Dukkha, the sorrows. Expert in cutting the sorrows. What is sorrow? Everything is sorrow. There is nothing than sorrow here. We saw in the Vicharasagra, even the happiness which we experience is engulfed by sorrow. There is nothing which is happiness here. The happiness, how can there be no happiness? Yes, the worldly happiness which we see, which we experience, which we say that this object gives me happiness, that very object can never be source of happiness. The idea of object giving us happiness is an illusion, is absurd. How can an inert object give me happiness? How can inert give me happiness? It is impossible. But I do experience happiness. If that happiness is gained through an object, then everyone should gain happiness through that object. Okay, I love a good cup of coffee. Good. I'm happy with that good cup of coffee. Does that mean that all of us should enjoy a good cup of coffee? No. Will all of us enjoy a good cup of coffee? No. I don't like coffee. I like only tea. Then, if the coffee is source of happiness, then everyone should be enjoying coffee. But no. For some, tea is happiness. For some, something else. Now, okay, we are not talking about others. We are talking about only me. I love coffee. Okay, good. Go ahead. First coffee. You love coffee. One more coffee. You love coffee. One more coffee. Enough. Don't kill me with coffee. What? I'm trying to make you more happy. And you say, don't try to kill me with coffee. So, the object which is we think is source of happiness becomes source of pain. That very object. Not in future, during that very course of time while you are experiencing. How? This is one example. That the more the object, that which you think produces happiness is forced upon you, you become an embodiment of sorrow. A. B. While experiencing that very cup of coffee, which is the source of happiness, it was full cup, then it is half cup, and it is reducing. The moment it reduces, the happiness also is reducing, because it is going to be over at a point of time, and you will not be able to enjoy that coffee. And that is second point. Third point, while experiencing this, enjoying this coffee, oh, yesterday she gave a coffee. What kind of coffee that's that? Tomorrow will I be able to enjoy? I am not experiencing enjoying this coffee at this moment, but I am comparing with the yesterday's coffee and tomorrow's coffee, which destroys the experience of enjoyment in this coffee. The happiness which I can gain through this coffee. That is 3. 4. Coffee is going to be over at one point or another. And after that, sorrow, pain, suffering. So, any object which you see, which you accept as the source of happiness, cannot be source of happiness. Then how do I enjoy, gain the experience of happiness through that object? When you decide that object as the source of happiness, when you decide, when you apply your free will and decide that this object is my source of happiness, and you achieve gaining that object, your mind is at peace. Your mind is at peace. Meaning it was running outwards. Now it stopped running. It is where it is, at its substratum. That substratum where the mind is the self. It is turning towards yourself and it is experiencing the bliss of the self, not the object. So that is why he says dukkha chedam. He is the slayer of, destroyer of dukkha. But what is dukkha? Janana marana. The birth and death. Janana means birth, marana means death. The birth and death sorrow, he is the slayer of that. He is the destroyer of that. Janana marana means the birth and death, the cycle of birth and death, which is samsara. He is the destroyer of the samsara. That is how you should understand that. We will see this. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.